Hello and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk, our at all regular chat show where we discuss some random thing that's happened in the geek world recently. And if you didn't notice, on Friday, just a couple of days ago, Marvel released their brand new movie, Avengers: Age of Ultron. And since that's all anybody can think about, I think I've talked about it in 4 different ways so far in the last 3 days. We've decided that we are going to talk about that. So, my name is Tricia Ennis. I'm the editor of allgeek2me.net, and I am joined by my two associate editors, Kate Calabro and Monica Peluso, and we are going to discuss what we liked and didn't like, and about Age of Ultron and what we're hoping for in the future. So, I think we should start with sort of what we were expecting going into the movie. Like, did you have very high expectations? Did you have very low expectations? Did you not care? Were you asleep?
Okay, I wouldn't be asleep, but I had my usual expectations for a Marvel film, and I had my expectations with Joss Whedon at the helm again, with the witty dialogue and the good contrast of action and storytelling. So I don't know. I was expecting good stuff, and I felt like I got that.
Kate, what about you?
I think I went in with expectations that were met. I think I'm not super surprised by anything, and I'm not super disappointed by anything.
Yeah, I think I would be in the same boat. I think I went in with, like, medium expectations, because even though it's a Joss Whedon movie, and I love him and everything he's ever done, I'm not, like, an unapologetic Joss fangirl. I do love him, but, like, I don't think that everything he's done is golden. But at the same time, I went in with medium expectations. It's a sequel, and there's so many people in so many ways this could be horrible. But like you guys said, I didn't think that I wasn't disappointed at all. I really, really liked it, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So like, first impressions, like, what were your immediate thoughts when you were done?
I don't know.
Is that too
I loved
difficult?
it. No, I loved it, but then a part of me felt like it was just a movie kind of trying to be a setup for the rest of the universe, like all the other films.
Yeah, I agree. I think I've said this before, and I will say it again. I felt like it was, like, probably one of the most Joss Whedon things I'd ever seen in my entire life. Like, it was the quintessential Joss Whedon movie. It had all of the witty dialogue and quips and weird references and stuff. It had, crazy action sequences. It had a lot of surprising philosophy, and it went to really dark places. The only thing it was missing was a really tragic character death, as opposed to a sort of meh character death.
Spoilers.
This is going to be full of spoilers, guys.
I know, but I'm just like warning everyone. Spoilers
Yes.
lie ahead.
Here be spoilers.
Yeah.
Kate, what about you?
I agree with you. I think Marvel's finally letting Joss Whedon do Joss Whedon-ish stuff. But with, certain, still no big, deaths. But, like I said before, and I agree with Monica, I think it is kind of, but just creates a foundation for the next Marvel film. But kind of every Marvel film now creates foundation for the next one. There's always tons of little, Easter eggs popping up, like, oh, they're, getting us ready for Civil War. But I enjoyed it. I think I enjoyed the first Avengers a little bit more because it was, the first one, and you're getting to see everyone come together. So yeah, I don't really know how to explain it in terms of other Marvel films.
Yeah, I think it relied maybe a little too much on being a setup for the rest, like for Phase 3. In that I think I would have enjoyed it more if it hadn't had to do that. If it could just have, like, focused on its character development, because that was its really, really strong point, was that even though it had so many characters, they really focused on these characters, and they, like, developed the relationships and did really cool stuff with, like, introspection and their worst fears and all of this nonsense. But I feel like if it didn't have to set up, like, the overall Marvel view, it might have been better than the first one. I think the first one is better as a standalone film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think it necessarily rates for me with the first Avengers, with Captain America: The Winter Soldier, and with Guardians of the Galaxy yet. It's like right underneath them.
Hmm. I agree. I think every character got a little bit more, got more development, except for I think Captain America was kind of shortchanged in this film. Like he was just the Captain America we kind of always knew.
Which I think is okay because he's also the next, not the next movie, Ant-Man's the next movie, but he's the next big Avengers film. Civil War is the next like big one, and that's
And he
sort
was
of
the
Avengers light.
one besides Guardians, which didn't connect with this. His movie was the last one, right?
Captain America? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of like he had the biggest story right before that. So
Yeah. I think the big thing that I took away from the Captain America storyline was that he is now kind of fully committed to SHIELD or building the new Avengers team or whatever, because he realizes he can't. The man that went into the ice 75 years ago wanted a family, and now he doesn't. Like, like his time for all that kind of jazz passed. So that was like the big takeoff of the Captain America storyline.
Yeah, I think this one was really interesting in the way that it sort of like played with not just like the worst fears, but like the darkest parts of each of the characters. Like Thor is worried that he's going to completely screw up Asgard, and Black Widow she's always been haunted by her past and like all the killing. Hulk is haunted by himself.
Yeah.
And Captain America is like, always thinking about the man he used to be and what he gave up when he went into the ice. And I'm trying to think of other people. Tony Stark is, worried that he's going to kill everyone, which he almost does a lot.
Yeah.
So I thought those were all really, really cool. Speaking of which, like, so I feel like we each probably have different things that we really liked about the movie. So for me, it was all like the relationships and sort of the darker side of everything, the way we got really deep into the character development, and the Hulkbuster suit. What were your favorite scenes and moments and things?
Come on, you can go first.
oh, okay. I think kind of on the same lines along with you. Like I like the exposure of their flaws, that they weren't just perfect superheroes. And we did get a deeper look into this, which again kind of sets up the rest of the Civil War and how that's going to affect them, either side. But I didn't really care that much about the Hulkbuster scene as much as like I was like, oh, cool when I first saw that. I was just like, alright, they're fighting, okay. Trying to think, what else did I like? I like seeing more of like, I don't know, I felt like I liked more that there's more focus on Hawkeye, this film.
Yeah. I felt like he was getting sort of like reparation for being so shortchanged in the last one. Or like he was
Yeah,
like a
'cause
zombie for most of the last movie.
well, yeah, true, he was. But I'm not like, what I liked about this movie and Hawkeye was like it kind of reminded me that in a way he was like the moral compass of the group. Like he reminds them of their humanity. And it was weird to Avengers, the first movie was on last night, so I watched it, of course. And you see how like Hawkeye saved Natasha and she's like owes everything to him, like changing his life. And now in this movie he does the same thing kind of with all the characters, but he focuses on Scarlet Witch. And he's like the biggest push for her to join the good side of things.
Yeah, that scene where he does the whole like I'm not gonna babysit you, you can join us or you can stay here. That was one of my favorite scenes in the movie. I think Jeremy Renner like really sold that. Plus he had one of the best lines, which is like the city is floating, there are, robots and I have a bow and arrow. None of this makes sense. So that was a really good scene. Kate, what about you?
I think my favorite part of the film would probably be the introduction of Scarlet Witch. I very much enjoyed her, and I thought she was pretty kick-ass. I think she might give Black Widow a run for her money in female ass-kicking of the Avengers team. So I liked James Spader as the bad guy. It was pretty awesome. Just that voice gave me chills, so I like that. There was a lot of great, of course, one-liners that I enjoyed, but I think the my favorite part would probably be Scarlet Witch. Yeah.
Scarlet Witch was awesome. I wasn't sure how they were going to do Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, whom I didn't realize until someone pointed it out to me. They never actually name dropped them, I think because they can't.
No,
Uh,
you mean like their actual names?
no, they say their actual names, but they never call them Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch.
Yeah. And they also couldn't call them mutants.
They can't call them mutants, and they can't connect them to Magneto. The story in Age of Ultron is that that crazy mad scientist guy was experimenting on them with Thor's scepter, which turns out to be the Mind Stone, which is the first time we've actually had someone name drop Infinity Stones. No, they talked about them in Guardians of the Galaxy, right?
Yeah, because he brings the collector brings it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so this is the first time that like we see it among the Avengers talking about the Infinity Stones, and they're apparently aware of them, and now that's going to be the focus because it has to be going into Infinity War in like 4 years.
Yeah.
Woohoo! 4 years. I feel like we're all going to be really tired by that point.
Yeah.
I thought Scarlet Witch was awesome though. She, of the two characters between her and Quicksilver, she was the one that had the arc. Like she went from being really timid and not sure what to do and just kind of annoyed and pissed off at Tony to being like, oh crap, I can actually like help people and do awesome stuff. Watch me just kill everything.
Which kind of makes sense for what happens to Quicksilver. I remember at one point I turned to who I was watching the movie with, and I'm like, he really doesn't have many lines.
Yeah, he didn't do terribly much, which is one of the reasons why I felt a little cheated when he was the one that ended up dying.
Yeah.
Speaking of like, going into some stuff that we didn't really love, one of my things was that Hawkeye was not the one that died. They set him up so well, and being a Joss Whedon fan and knowing that he's probably going to kill someone in every movie, and I felt a little let down after Avengers when they brought Coulson back. As much as I like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., it still felt like it was a little cheap.
Well, there's that whole article where Joss Whedon says like he's not happy about Phil Coulson being resurrected for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Right, where he talks about how like it lessens the effect of the death, and it also makes Nick Fury like way worse. But in this movie, like, they set up Hawkeye so much to be the one that dies. Like, you meet his family, his wife is pregnant, he talks about how he has one last project to do. He's constantly talking to Black Widow about, like, how, maybe I should do this, I think she'd really like that, and blah, blah, blah. And Black Widow literally says, like, you have to get home first. And then it's a total fake out.
Yeah.
I mean, Quicksilver literally says, I bet you didn't see that coming, and then dies.
Yeah, but I also think it's Quicksilver dying was supposed to help Scarlet Witch's story so that she actually, goes all out with her power and decides to join the Avengers.
But she had decided already. Like, he dies, and then she just flips out and almost... She's the reason that she stops protecting the thingy.
But I also think it's in a way to, if they ever go down that road, to kind of set up how she can easily like flip her switch. Like you see what she can do great things, but also something bad happens, she might not be the best member for the team later on. So they might be setting something up with her later on. Because I really doubt, they can't do House of M, so yeah, they're probably going to try to incorporate what she's done in House of M somehow into their universe without bringing that up.
Right, all those things that they can't talk about. Maybe by the time they get to a House of M storyline, they'll buy back the X-Men.
Maybe.
My guess is probably not, but maybe. So other things that maybe didn't sit as well with us as other stuff. Do you guys have any like things you were disappointed in or you didn't care for? I mean, overall, I really like the movie. I don't have a lot of complaints. I have like 2.
Yeah, I can't really think of anything that like stood out where I was like that was stupid. Uh,
Yeah.
Besides Hawkeye not dying.
Hawkeye, hello. um,
Just feel like they set it up like he should die.
I think my only other thing that really bothered me, and it didn't really bother, like I didn't mind as much as other people the Black Widow Hulk relationship. Like I actually liked it. They make sense to me as like a couple, and
Hmm.
I didn't really care that they took their one like main female character and gave her a relationship because if you want emotional weight, sometimes that's necessary and barring changing one of their sexuality last minute, it doesn't work with anyone but Black Widow. And you see over the course of their conversations in the movie that like they really do match emotionally and like psychologically where neither one of them can have a family as we find out they both consider themselves horrible monsters that are completely unrepentant
Hmm.
um, and they sort of and they set up the whole thing where she's the one that calms him down and turns him back into Bruce Banner when he's the Hulk. So I liked all of that. My problem with the relationship was more in the way that Black Widow was characterized a little because it felt like we missed the middle of the story. There was this whole like you know Black Widow from the earlier movies, the Iron Man 2, the first Avengers, and then you get Super Spy Black Widow. Like you see her in her element at Shield doing all their super spy stuff, and then Shield is torn down. And so like you see in the last Avengers when she's doing her whole read in my ledger speech that and then like other conversations with Hawkeye and then in Winter Soldier you see her as like this person who sees Shield as the way that she's going to make up for everything that she did wrong or she considers she did wrong in her life and then Shield is destroyed. And so I feel like somewhere in the middle she had like a crisis of faith almost where by the time you get to Age of Ultron, she's tired and she wants to stop. But we didn't see any of that. So we go from super spy to tired and wants to stop.
yeah, also, I mean, I like the relationship between them, but at the same time, it's like, it kind of just started out like, oh, they've been flirting for a while. It's like, but they didn't really do it in the other movie, and it's just, so we are missing that part where, like, where it started, like, maybe they flirted or they showed some interest in each other, and it just kind of started off that way, and but you're just like, they seem like a good couple. I'll go with
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Like it feels like we missed a movie.
I, I think maybe we missed a movie with the whole relationship with between Black Widow and Hulk, but in terms of from Iron Man to Avengers to Captain America Winter Soldier to this, I think for her to be like she wants to, she's tired now, I think it has a lot to do with what happened to Nick and when she thought he was dead and then she thought he wasn't dead and then he disappears and I think she's lacking guidance and she doesn't know what to do when she doesn't have guidance.
I
Because,
think that also. Oops, sorry, I cut you off.
no, it's okay.
I think that also translates into that they don't know what to do with her anymore.
I think they don't know what to do with her, and I think she doesn't know what she's meant to do anymore because there isn't any set plan.
Yeah, and I think honestly, I do kind of think that that would be helped if we got a Black Widow movie. One of the things that I was hoping for to come out of Age of Ultron was that like you could kind of dissect from what we knew Scarlet Witch's powers were going to be and what we saw in clips in the trailers.
Hmm.
That my assumption was that she was going to whammy Black Widow, and it was going to be that Natasha thought other things had happened in her childhood, and this would like show her the Red Room and she would be like, "Oh crap, is that where all this shit came from?" And then we would get a Black Widow movie where she sort of explored her past
Yeah.
and was like introspective and I need to figure out what I'm doing now. Um, that I would have really liked, and I'd still really like it. I mean, they still left it open for that, but they haven't announced a Black Widow movie. So seriously, Marvel, what the hell?
But I think the difference, I think how this Age of Ultron ended with Black Widow and Captain America really shows how those two characters are driven. They're driven by the organization and they're driven to help within S.H.I.E.L.D., and that's it. Captain America knows he can't have a life outside of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I think now Black Widow's starting to realize now that, the Hulk kind of left her and ran away, that maybe this is all that she's meant to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think her relationship with Bruce definitely highlighted that, like, she wanted more than super spying.
Yeah.
And so did he. Like, he wanted more than hulking.
Yeah.
But
Well, he does have more. He is a scientist. He's not.
yeah, but he considers himself the Hulk first, almost.
Yeah.
Like, not that that's his identity, but it's sort of this thing that's blocking him from his identity. And I think that idea of, like, running away together was really enticing to both of them, but he, of course, doesn't feel like he can do that, and so now she's like, well, now what?
Yeah.
But I mean, and those were really my only issues. I loved this movie. Like, I feel like this conversation's been a little lackluster in that we're not like, oh my god, it was amazing, but it was so good. Like, that the action sequences were awesome. I didn't even care that they talked a lot.
Yeah, it was kind of like action, talk, 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 action, talk, talk, talk. Like it was like a good balance between like these epic fights and then talking points. And I think there's also the conflict, but yet there's conflict within the group, but yet they all realize that they have to work together as a team at the end of the day, which was great. So yeah, I don't really have anything much to complain about.
Yeah, I thought it was really good, and it was a great setup. Monica, what were you saying?
No, I just want to say one shout out for, I love the scene, and I forgot about this earlier, where Iron Man and Thor are both like kind of having a competition about like how awesome their girls are. Like, well, my
Yes.
girlfriend runs $1 billion industry. Well, you know, Jane's getting the Nobel Peace Prize. I was like, yeah, good for you guys standing up, like being proud of your women being awesome and smart.
And then it ends, and Thor's like, Jane's still better.
Yeah.
But I
And
was just
also,
like, what? But I was just like, yeah, they always complain how, like, I mean, I love Black Widow in the movies. I think they portray her very well, and I want a movie for herself. But I feel like these movies kind of get a bad rep saying they don't represent women enough. But I feel like they do try.
Yeah, they do
They do
try.
pretty well.
And they managed to make more background characters women. Like, there were several background characters. We got that new scientist lady whose name I can't remember, Dr. Cho or something.
Was it Helen Cho?
Helen Cho.
first name was Helen.
Helen Cho. Okay, well, we got her, and she was really interesting. I liked her. And they worked her in so that we had another lady character. They brought Maria Hill in, and she got to do a lot more than she did in the first movie.
Like I still want more Maria Hill.
I do
She's
still
only
want
kind
more.
of like the beginning and the end. Like,
Yeah.
she's gone the whole like middle. I think.
One of the things that I was annoyed by with the end of last season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was that Nick Fury makes Coulson director, and I wanted him to make Maria Hill director and have her join Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. so that we got so much more of her. Because we need more Maria Hill. I like her a lot.
Well, technically, she is working for Stark at the moment, so.
Yeah, technically, but I mean, she was hired by Stark to be like part of the Avengers.
Yeah.
I still wanted her to be the new director of S.H.I.E.L.D. because that's supposed to be what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe in like another movie it'll set it up that way.
Maybe, probably not, but maybe. Yeah, I've never really had a problem with the way they portray the women. Like, even though most of the the female characters in these movies tends to be the girlfriend, they're still awesome characters. Like, Peggy Carter is one of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
And she was even before Agent Carter. And I've always liked Pepper, and I love Jane, and, you know, like, I've never had any complaints about the female characters, really. So I don't know what people are complaining about. They need to stop. I mean, I guess I can keep complaining.
Yeah.
So this movie, as we've been saying this whole time, sets up a lot for the future. So my big question here is, now that we're about to enter Phase 2, we've got Ant-Man coming, and that will be the end of Phase 2. Sorry, we're about to enter Phase 3. What is the thing you're looking the most forward to? I feel like we're all going to have the same answer.
Oh, you mean Captain Marvel?
No, I was thinking we were all going to say Civil War, but no, I keep forgetting that Captain Marvel is happening.
Is it Phase 3 though, or is it Phase?
I don't think it's in between the two Infinity Wars.
Okay,
It's still considered part of Phase 3.
Yeah, but it's. I
Yeah,
mean,
I'm still excited. I'm sorry. I'm still excited for the Civil War, and I don't know. I'm excited for all of them. I can't help it.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
definitely
excited for
excited for the
Spider-Man to come
whole.
back.
I'm excited for the whole thing. I'm wary of Civil War, although I'm excited for it at the same time because Captain America is my favorite Avenger. Um, shut up, Kate. He is. But like, so I'm excited about it. I'm also wary about it. I'm also wary about Captain Marvel, but that's so far off that I'm kind of not even thinking about it. Weirdly, I'm more excited for Ant-Man than anything right now. Maybe just because it's the next one that's coming out. Maybe because I'm in love with Paul Rudd. Kate, stop making faces at me.
I'm
You're
not
like,
excited for Ant-Man. I'm just gonna throw it out there.
I feel like I'm the only one that's excited for Ant-Man.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm not that
If
excited for
Edgar Wright was still in there, man, I'd be like their first one in line. But
Like they had the trailer before the movie, and I was like, oh, that's cool, but I wasn't like, yeah, I can't wait to see that opening day. Like I'm like, yeah,
yeah,
I can wait with it.
I
No
will be
offense to
seeing it
Ant-Man.
opening day.
like I mean, I'm going to see it. Like it's not like I'm not going to see it, but I'm not super excited for it.
Well, I feel like Ant-Man is one of those movies that they were like, you know what, we could literally make anything.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Anyone will see anything that we make, so we are going to make Ant-Man. But I also feel like they might be pulling Ant-Man in to sort of eventually take Tony Stark's place in the Avengers. Because like they're obviously setting up a new lineup.
Yeah, I don't know if Ant-Man would be the substitute to Tony. I
In
think.
the original comic book for Age of Ultron, Ant-Man is the one who creates Ultron, not Tony.
Okay, well, I guess we'll see.
But it's also the Hank Pym one. It's not the Scott Lang one. So
Hmm.
I'm excited for Ant-Man. Leave me alone. Let
Yeah.
me wallow in my corner with my Paul Rudd and
You do
tiny
that.
ant things.
So,
The trailer was funny.
yeah, like the tank engine thing was pretty entertaining.
It's mass destruction on a tiny scale.
Yeah, like I mean, like I think they're going for the Guardians of the Galaxy feel with Ant-Man. I think they're gonna get it.
I'm wondering if they're going to fold in Guardians of the Galaxy and Captain Marvel at all into Infinity War, because one of the things that Tony was talking about throughout Age of Ultron was like, we need a first line of defense
Yeah,
against like, alien stuff. So I'm thinking Captain Marvel, maybe they'll team up with the Guardians of the Galaxy. There's a part of me that was hoping they were going to announce a Nova Corps movie.
I mean, in terms of comics. I would not be surprised that at the end of Guardians 2 we are introduced to Captain Marvel, because Captain Marvel in the 2014 reboot comic series is actually sent to work with Guardians by Tony Stark. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's Guardians and Captain Marvel overlapping within the cinematic universe, but I don't know at this point if Tony Stark realizes what's really going on upstairs. Like, like I think he knows there's aliens, but I don't think he knows the extent.
Yeah, and we've also got to work in the Inhumans, which they're already setting up in Agents of Shield. The way they're like exponentially expanding the cinematic universe kind of worries me, because 6 people in Age of Ultron was almost too much.
Yeah.
And so if they fold in all these other characters and all these background characters, like, my brain might hurt a lot.
It is gonna get confusing, and it's just like comic books where like there's so many storylines, and then you can read this issue from this thing, and that connects to this one, and this one connects to that one, and then you start to be like, okay, I need like a poster board while I read this stuff to remember who's connected to what universe is like friendly with each other. So we
Yeah,
might
and
get that like fatigue in the movie soon.
it definitely feels like we might be going into that. We might slowly be entering into like a Marvel fatigue, and probably at this point a comic book movie fatigue, because we've also got all of DC's movies, which are probably going to grate on Marvel fans a lot, because it's just such a 180 from everything else. And we've also got the new Fantastic Four movie and another X-Men movie, and a Deadpool movie, which I'm hoping is going to be as awesome as the pictures, and like other so many things that, and Marvel's got their properties spread out over so many different things, and there's so many TV shows, and you can't watch everything, and you have to.
I mean, I think what this Age of Ultron also did was it also developed the idea of some of the Avengers slowly being faded out.
Which they really needed to do.
I think, we're fading out on Captain America. I think we're fading out on Black Widow. I think we're fading out on Tony Stark. And I think by the end of Infinity Wars, they won't be really seen anymore.
I would guarantee it, actually. I think Chris Evans only has enough movies left on his contract to get to the end of Infinity War. I really wouldn't be surprised if we see Tony Stark stopping. I mean, his storyline for the last couple of movies has been like, I don't want to be Iron Man anymore.
Yeah. I think Age of Ultron really set up this Tony Stark who's still clearly something after what happened, Battle of New York, and now he's like kind of moving away from Iron Man and into saving the world as Tony Stark.
He also wanted to create something that could be Iron Man instead of him, and he sort of did that with Vision.
Yeah.
Ultron was the failed project, and Vision was a success. We didn't actually even touch on Vision. What did you guys think of Vision?
I liked Vision.
It was interesting.
I liked him a lot. I'd like to see more of him. I thought that where they used him was awesome, picking up Thor's hammer and like that callback and all that was really cool. I don't think we got as much of him as I would have liked to really understand and love the character because he was only in the third act. But I think he's obviously going to play heavily into Infinity War since he has one of the gems in his head.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see. We still have one more Infinity Gem to find.
Yeah, I think 5.
Yeah, there's 5, I think, and we've done 4. We've done space was the Tesseract, mind was the staff, reality was the ether, and I don't remember what the one was from Guardians of the Galaxy.
I don't remember what the purpose of that stone. Oh, wasn't it? Was it supposed to destroy? Was there a destroyer?
Was it power?
It might have been power. I think it might have been power.
Because they were
or soul.
It was supposed to blow up stuff.
They're all supposed to blow up stuff.
Like, that was what it was like. I don't know. So confusing.
It was like that person would wield like ultimate like power, I think.
Yeah.
So it might have been power, yeah. So we have one more to find. It's either going to be power if that wasn't power or soul, I think. I don't know. I'm not great on my Infinity Stone. Tell us if I'm getting it wrong.
Yeah, I have no fucking idea.
Yeah, so there's a lot left to do. There's a lot of concern for me over the fatigue and whether they'll be able to carry on past Infinity War. I think completely revamping the Avengers cast would be interesting to see. I don't know if we'll ever get there. I mean, they're set up through 2019.
Yeah, and like, I mean, where's Winter Soldier has to play in someplace. Like, I don't see him fitting in anywhere.
Sebastian Stan is signed on for 9 films. He's got 8 left. Yeah,
but I don't see that character fitting into anything. Like, he's briefly mentioned in this film when Falcon, I forget what his real name is in the series, comes in and goes, "Oh, I'm working on that missing person case," and that's it.
Yeah, like, I mean, you get a lot of that with all the background characters. You get Rhodey and stuff, but I mean, they're setting up all these characters to come in. So there's a question of when Captain America retires, is he going to pass the title on to Bucky or to Falcon? Because he's done both in the comics, only to quickly come back. There's that, and there's, Iron Patriot has now joined the Avengers. Like, it's sort of the Avengers B team. It's like the everyday Avengers, and then we tried out the real ones for formal occasions.
Pretty much.
So it'll be interesting to see what they do in 5 years. God, I can't believe it's going to be 5 years. I'm going to be 30. Like, by the time this is over, that's what I have to look forward to. So I'll have my 30-year-old crisis while I'm watching Infinity War. Yeah, fun times. All right. Is there anything else we wanted to mention that we didn't get to? We talked about Vision and Hulkbuster and Scarlet Witch. I don't
Thor
think
looks
so.
great.
Naturally.
I just want to say Thor's hair. Yeah, his word, what he wore to the. Oh man, and Papa Scars was in it. Oh,
Your favorite was in it.
shout out.
Thor, the thing in the lake was almost gratuitous.
Yeah,
It was a little weird, actually.
I liked it.
And Loki's scenes got left on the cutting room floor, which good because I think that would have been too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So overall, good movie. I think we all came out on the side of good but not amazing.
Yes.
Like really, really good, but not at the same caliber as some of the other movies they've done. I'm really interested to see what they do with Civil War since I love The Last Captain America so much. And now I want to go back and watch it and then rewatch all of Agent Carter. And so we will see what the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe will bring. Ant-Man comes out in July, so that'll be our next foray, and I will enjoy it even if you guys don't.
Whatever.
Leave me alone, okay? So please, people who are watching this, if you are excited for Ant-Man, let me know. Join me in solidarity with the underappreciated heroes.
They can take our place in this chat. So.
Yeah.
Leave your comments below, either on the YouTube channel, or youtube.com/allgeektometv, on the website, allgeektome.net, or on Google Plus if you hang out there. We have been
Well,
Tricia.
people that like Ant-Man probably hang out on Google Plus. So.
Leave me and my nerdy friends alone. I have them. I will find friends. And on that note, we are going to sign off. Make sure you subscribe to All Geek to Me TV for more of these lovely conversations, as well as our shows Two Chicks, One Show, The Word from Westeros, hosted by Kate, and The Movie Minute, hosted by me and Kate, and other stuff that I'm sure we will. You do this! And I'm sure many other things that we will come up with in the future. See you then. Bye. Okay, you do have to say something or no one's going to see you waving goodbye.
Well, it's still live. Turn it off.
Bye!
Yeah.